for the next 10 minutes, we've got the pleasure of interviewing Kaushik from GNN Research Group on online research trends in the Middle East. And a little applause and thank you to those online.
How are you doing?
Oh, very good, thank you. How are you?
Thanks for having me over here.
Yeah.
And I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you all for attending. I understand that you have been able to take out time from your busy schedule and despite the lunch time as well. And hopefully I can leave behind some learning which is useful to you and many other panel viewers who are watching it online probably.
Of course.
I'd like to thank them all, yeah.
Well, very kind of you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, all right, let's get started. So, can you tell me a little bit more about GNN Research Group, and then the part that it plays in the Middle Eastern industry?
Yeah. See, GNN Research Group is one of the largest companies offering online panel services in the Middle Eastern region.
Okay.
And apart from Middle East, we cover other places as well, like for example, North Africa, Asia, even certain parts of Europe and North America. But our mainstay, our main business is in the Middle East and North African region.
Yeah.
I would say specifically the Middle Eastern region, the Gulf region. So it started online services sometime way back in 2008, and I'm proud to say that we are one of the early adopters of online panels in that particular region. And our panel strength worldwide is something like 2.7 million. And in the Middle Eastern region as such, in the Gulf region that you call it, it's 1.2 million. So it includes B2C, B2B as well. And in addition to online panel services, we are also offering offline in four of the markets in the Middle East, including qualitative research. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. So the Middle East is getting a lot of attention from international brands, agencies, and as someone that's worked in the industry for a long time, you understand the culture, you understand the people, the nuances within the area as well. Can you let us know why it's becoming so interesting to the international organizations?
Yeah, obviously, Middle East garners a lot of attention from the international clients, the Western clients specifically. One of the obvious reasons is also the purchasing power, higher purchasing power of the people in the Middle East, and relatively more affluent individuals or population living there in many of these countries. If that is a factor number one, there is also a significant and very significant presence of expat population in the Middle East, starting from high-end professionals to even manual workers who are probably earning more than they would have in their own countries. So therefore, because of various reasons, the taxes and stuff like that, the purchasing power is relatively higher. So that's just one part of it. There are other reasons as well. For example, in some of these countries in the Middle East, even a few years ago, certain entertainment options, for example, visiting a cinema theater was not really allowed. So it was not really in vogue. So one of the major source of entertainment for the people in the region was visiting a mall, doing shopping and eating. And obviously it has a lot of implications for the MNCs, Western MNCs, for launching certain kind of products, for making them purchase from certain kind of outlets, the channels. It has implications of the channels and so on. And even after it started, the cinemas and all these started, those habits of visiting the mall for entertainment along with your family remains in the Middle East. And of course there are other reasons also, cultural reasons why people need to know about Middle East. For example, even in the domain of food products, certain animal products are not allowed, as you would be knowing, because of cultural reasons. But it is not restricted to food products only. It is even in the personal care product domain that certain animal products may be prohibited for a large section of the population. So the international agencies and international clients, the MNCs, need to be aware of all these sorts of things and segment the consumers in terms of demographics, as well as cultural preferences, as well as attitudes, and target them in the right way. And therefore, it is important to them. They recognize it is very important to them.
Oh, I see. So obviously, with your expertise in the Middle East, and then having a lot of experience outside, in more of the Western markets, what do you have any innovative approaches that you use in order to approach the Middle Eastern target? Is there anything that GNN Research is quite proud to share with?
See, we started off as an offline research company even before 2008. It's only in 2008, 2010 that we started recruiting the panels and became one of the largest panel service providers in the Middle East. One of the approaches is that, it's not particularly very specific to the Middle East, but we try and follow elsewhere as well, that we do not purchase any database. We recruit our panel members through face-to-face contact, for example, in the malls, by visiting gyms, because a lot of young professionals with a certain kind of lifestyle or those who are health conscious have started visiting the gym. We recruit from there. People attending seminars and conferences specifically for the B2B audience. So those are the combination. And then we advertise in websites like news portals and websites like that. So this is the combination of processes that we use to initially establish contact with the respondents. And then we use something which is called a triple opt-in method. Instead of going into the technical part of it, I'll try and explain what we do. Once we contact, we collect the name and address and the telephone number and email ID and one more information from the respondents. And then once they agree that, in their first contact, that they are agreeing to kind of, be a part of our panel, we send them a link, email them a link, and then once they click on the link, an OTP is generated on their mobile. So by which, what happens is that we are able to verify whether the email ID that they have provided is correct and genuine. At the same time, by generating the OTP on your mobile, we know that we confirm that the mobile number is indeed correct. So once they do that, they are in, and we then send them a 20 minutes questionnaire with certain profiling questions and durable ownership and a whole lot of questions in terms of product ownership and occupation and income and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So once we are satisfied with that, we don't stop at that triple opt-in thing. We also check out their presence in the social media sites. For example, LinkedIn. I'll just take one example. To check out the genuineness of, they can claim something, that they are doing something, but once you check their profile on LinkedIn, probably you are likely to reach at a greater truth in terms of the genuineness of the respondent, in terms of what they're claiming. So once we are satisfied, they are our panel members, we explain them the incentive process, and then when the survey comes, we float the survey according to their demographics. For example, if you have to do 25 to 35-year-old men and women in certain percentages, we will float the questionnaires accordingly with a unique ID. So if they are eligible for a certain product usage and so on, then only it progresses, otherwise it gets terminated. So, but in terms of how we are doing it, you said slightly different. How we are. So we also, because we engage with our panel members, like when disbursing the incentives, when they are redeeming the incentives, we also make it a point to call them personally to find out what has changed in their life in the last 3 months or last 4 months or whatever, in terms of changing their residential unit, or whether it's income or occupation and things like that. So this not just helps us to correct the profile of those people, but also allows us the opportunity to nurture them in some other way. So our response rates are higher. Like cooperation from the panel members is usually higher than many other companies having a panel in the region, right?
Well, fantastic. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Really appreciate this, and learned a lot about the Middle Eastern market, and really appreciate the personal touch that you're doing with the respondents. Kaushik, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me, and something for the audience, we are at booth number 48. If you have any further question, we are happy to answer that in booth number 48 in this hall.
Booth number 48. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you for
Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.
Thanks so much.